Welcome to the Delvin Cox Experience, the podcast in which each week I am on a one-man mission to unite our culture through diversity. I'm your host, Delvin Cox, and this week I have a special guest on the podcast. Let them know who you are, brother.
My name is Delvin Cox. No. This is Mikey Famine from Dig on America.
As always, Mikey, welcome to the experience. And this is kind of interesting because this is the first official episode you've been on.
Yes.
Because the last time you were on, we were on the one about the N-word.
Yes.
Caused a little controversy, which is fine. Because I like controversy.
Not me. Everybody liked what I had to say. I didn't get I looked back at the comments. I'm like, oh, no, I got ate up. No, they all liked what I had to say.
Yeah, you did good.
I dodged all the controversy.
Completely. Yeah.
Or they didn't get to that far in the episode, and that's the only reason I stayed alive.
We'll get to that in a minute. But as always, we like to start the podcast off with the 5 for 5. 5 questions, 5 answers to get the ball rolling. Mikey, you ready?
Pass me the rock. I'm open.
All right. Question number 1. What is the best album or song you listened to in the past year, and it does not have to be new?
Drogas Waves by Lupe Fiasco. I still play that from start to finish, maybe twice a month, and it came out 5 years ago.
Dope album. Let me ask you this. This is a separate question about that. What did you think of the whole Lupe Royce thing that went down about a month ago?
Oh my! Why, Royce? Why? You know what it is? I can tell you what it is. Everybody loves Royce. If you're a hip hop head, you love some Royce da 5'9". But everybody knows that Royce has thin skin. He has thin skin. He loves to dish it. He loves to talk that mess. But then as soon as somebody hits him back, he wants to start, well, I'm a show up. It's like, bro, just rap. They just asked you to rap. They said, cool, you want to rap against me? Let's rap. And that's all it was. But he wanted to turn it into physical stuff and all that. And then he got embarrassed. Lupe body bagged him. That wasn't even, oof.
Yeah, that was a really interesting thing to watch.
I could tell Lupe already had that in the cut.
Yeah, he did.
he came out with that way too fast for that to have been off the top of the dome. That had been festering.
Yeah, because even Royce said that. He said he had that. He had some underlying feelings about him.
Lupe is like Batman in the Justice League, where he got like a kryptonite bullet. He got like some he got a reason, he got a way to deal with everybody in case they go rogue. And he was ready for Royce. It's too bad because this show was really good. I loved it, but I didn't think that dynamic would work at the very beginning, and then it was kind of working. But yeah, I didn't think it would last.
I didn't either. They're completely different personalities.
They're way too different. Like, I can't even think of who would be good for Royce. I don't even know.
I know who exactly would be good for Royce. Joe Budden. That's the only person I can think of off the top of my head. His friend.
I had to cancel Joe, right? Off of how after what he did to his pod mates.
Yeah, that was whack, to say the least.
I was like,
so corny.
Joe, after you talked all this stuff about how the corporation's trying to keep you down and we trying to build something and we trying to, and then as soon as the money shows up, this is mine.
Yeah.
This is not yours. What do you know about this? And sorry, listeners, if you're not caught up, Joe Budden fired 2 of his pod mates and said that, well, technically everything's in my name, so this is my show.
Super corny.
Whack.
It was really just whack.
That was a Joker move right there.
Yeah.
So I'm done with Duke. But yeah, Royce would fit in perfectly over there.
Yeah, that's the only person I can really think of off the top of my head. Him. Maybe him.
Joe's going to say something to him, though. Joe's going to say something and set him off. And then he's going to be mad. And then he's going to walk off.
See, the only thing about that is I think he can handle it from Joe, because they're such good friends. I don't think he can handle it from Lupe, because Lupe is somebody who will not only fight back, but will literally fight back.
Yeah. Yo, I seen him on IG the next day doing push-ups and doing it with the kettlebells, and I'm like, Lupe has an 8-pack?
Yeah.
Ooh, don't do it, Royce. Don't do it, Royce.
Lupe is a fascinating dude because Lupe is like,
yeah.
And getting on this we on the tangent. I'm like, Lupe is like in the anime and the martial arts and stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
I guess you could kind of call it black nerd culture.
Mm-hmm.
But Lupe is also from the South Side of Chicago.
Yes. 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 For all of what that means. Yes.
Yeah.
So like you can't have somebody kickflip, hit you with a samurai sword, drop a killer 16, and then beat your ass. Like you don't want all of that at the same time.
Yeah, it's not a good combination.
Yeah, he's like Lupe is Black Keanu Reeves to me.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah,
he's black nerd Jesus.
Yeah, and I love Lupe. I love both artists a lot.
Booker Ryan was amazing.
Yeah,
I love Booker Ryan.
Great album. Maybe his best album.
Yeah, easily. He smoked that one.
Definitely. All right. Question number 2. If you could have any guest on Dig of America, anybody you want, who would it be?
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
That's a good answer.
Because he's just a fountain of information, and he's cool as hell. I'd love to have him on. We do like a dig on astrophysics or something like that. Do it, just make up something.
That actually sounds feasible too.
Dig on NASA or something like that. It would be great. Be a blast to talk to him. Big fan. I call him my real dad. I'm like, oh, look at my real dad on TV. What him talking about?
I like that. Question number 3. What is the dumbest thing you think you ever done as a kid?
Oh, so many to sort through. What else? We did a lot of like stupid playground stuff. We did a lot of dumb fireworks stuff.
Were you one of those kids who was like in the jackass culture and stuff like that, and just would like do shit like they used to do?
Yeah, we used to throw each other in the bushes and flip off of houses into the snow, and we did a lot of stupid stuff. But we did backyard wrestling because that was fun. I don't know. We did a lot of things that could have definitely caused harm, but I don't know. There's just a general little like teenage boy. I'm gonna do this because my friends will think it's cool, but I also could have broke like 30,000 arms. So luckily I never broke anything. Still haven't had a stitch. Never broke a bone. So I don't know. It was all very stupid, but I don't know. A couple college parties I went to, I did some stupid, like drinking way too much. I probably could have died from all the alcohol I was ingesting, but when you're 20, your body is in like prime condition, and I just somehow was able to survive drinking a 5th of vodka in one sitting, throwing it up, and then going back and drinking beer for the rest of the night, taking a 2-hour nap and driving home completely. So I'm like, I don't know. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question. What you think is the most you ever drink?
Yeah, doing a whole bottle of like Dragonberry Smirnoff to kick off a party was probably the most I've had in like a day, because I still I crashed for like an hour, then woke up and just kept partying.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good idea at all.
Thanks, NIU. Good times.
Yeah. Question number 4. If you were to pick one person that you think would be the leader of our generation, well, not my generation, I'm old now, your generation.
I'm not that much younger than you. I look it, but how old are you?
41.
I'm 34. You're like my older sister's age.
Okay, so I can say our generation.
Yeah.
You pick somebody who you think would be the leader of our generation. Like this person defines our generation, where everybody knows, okay, this is the guy who defines generation, or girl for that matter. Who would that be?
Yeah. I hate to say it, but it's got to be Jay-Z.
I think that is the consistent answer.
He's a little bit older than us. Because what is he now, like 50?
Yeah, he might be 50 now.
So he's a little bit old for me, but he's still like between him, Chappelle, Diddy, like these like moguls, these black moguls that have been popping up. It's got to be them. I don't I don't rock with everything Dave does. I don't rock with everything Diddy or Jigga does, but excuse Zero, the wonder pup who likes to bark at people closing their own car doors. Hey, that's enough, bud. I'd probably say Jay-Z just because his story is so well known and everybody watches what he does and everybody moves like he moves, or at least attempts to. I wish he would give more game out.
Yeah.
I wish he would do more empowering, but we ain't got one of those yet.
Yeah. I think you're right, though. I think, especially when it comes to our generation in terms of that, like, generation I grew up in, I guess you fam that as well, with that 90s generation where street culture, hip-hop culture was the thing. So our heroes in that time were like NWA, Tupac, Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas, the guys who were talking about the street culture and things like that. So 20 years from now, from that time, these guys are now moguls and CEOs of their own company. And we got to see their progression from the guy talking about street stuff and murders and selling drugs and stuff like that to the guy who's in corporate offices. And I think that's kind of the American dream in terms of our culture.
And it's not just like them like being broke to being rich. It's being broke, being a rapper, and everybody knows what rappers are thought of in the corporate field.
Yes.
To being brought onto boards, to being seen as a CEO, to be treated, you know what I'm saying? Like there's different levels to all this. So there's a difference between like you walking into a room, you're worth $10 million versus this dude whose company is worth $1 billion. That guy, you know what I mean? Like rich to us ain't rich to everybody. Now they're rich to everybody and they're respected by it. Like I hate to bring up Kanye, but Kanye is respected in fashion.
Yes, very much so.
And like Jay-Z is respected in a lot of circles. So like there's that transcendence of just being broke to being rich, then being from that rich to being powerful, to being impactful, to being influential. Because I mean, all Jay-Z has to do is like, hey yo, we done with Nike.
Yeah,
that's who he's got the button. He's got the button right now.
Yeah,
I would say Kendrick, but Kendrick been gone for a whole bunch of time. He put out great albums, and then you don't hear from him for 4 years. So
I feel like Kendrick is this generation's Nas. And if you know what I mean by that,
yeah,
Nas in the 90s was like that. Nas would drop an album every 3 or 4 years. Like, damn, what Nas at?
I ain't heard nothing from Nas.
Then you get like 10 Jay-Z albums in the process of him getting like one Nas album. Like, damn, why is this?
You know what that is? That's Drake and Kendrick is Jay-Z and Nas.
Yeah, to the T. All they do now is just
exactly what they better not.
Yeah,
the streets ain't ready for that.
Yeah, I agree.
Bunch of dudes with Dracos in their little man bags and they carrying around. I can't do it. Oh.
All right. Question number 5. Zombie apocalypse happens Walking Dead style.
Got it. You
only take 5 things for you to go survive. Anything you want to. Your family and pets don't count. They automatically come with you if you want them to come with you.
I'm leaving all them behind.
Okay.
That's 5 things I don't have to. No, I'm just playing. I love you, baby.
So what would you take with you, Mikey?
The car would have to be one of them, right?
The car, I'll put it this way. Let's say you got a van. So the van doesn't count towards your 5.
Okay.
Unless you're trying to super like, oh, I'm taking an RV. You think that's kind of cheap.
That's
so
that's
so if you take
an RV with a trailer. And on the trailer is another RV. Like, no,
Yeah.
hold on.
Now, if you do that,
You're
I have
wishing
to
for more
count it.
wishes. I'm gonna take all of my little solar panels and batteries.
Okay, I'll count that as one. That's smart.
I'm gonna take my tools.
Okay, a toolbox. That's two.
Yeah, take the toolbox. Gotta have that. I will take. I'd have to say gotta bring the strap with me. He gotta come with.
Yeah.
Just in case, I might need to eat something or not get eaten.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Then what I got? Two left. I got
Two left. Yeah.
I'm gonna bring a notepad to record everything.
Okay.
And finally, I'll bring a guitar.
I like that.
I'll need something to keep me sane.
And the guitar kind of works in that situation. And plus, I don't think you don't need electricity for a guitar. So yeah.
Yeah, I got the electric and the acoustic. So I can bring the acoustic electric if we ever get the grid back working after the zombies shoot through all the wires.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. Why every time, like every movie or TV show has a zombie apocalypse, like the power of the first thing that goes out?
So I don't mean to shout out another podcast on your podcast, but there's this amazing audio drama. It was supposed to come out. It's a zombie survival story. It was supposed to come out, but Walking Dead came out. So they never turned it into a TV show. And all the actors ended up just doing voice acting for this thing. It's called We're Alive. And it's like three dudes who are soldiers who like some wild like protests, rioty stuff starts happening, and they are told to report to the base, and they report to the base, and they're the only three that show up. And they start hearing all this crazy stuff. They go inside the base, grab up, mount up their guns, and then the zombies are on them. And then it kicks off from there. But that's one of the things later on in the story is, how have we been having water and electricity this whole time? It was a separate crew of people that was the first thing they did, is like, well, we're going to have to make sure the infrastructure stays. Every 6 months they put out a thing. All right, guys, season 4 is coming out. And then nothing happens. And then 6 months later, all right, guys, we really mean it this time. Season 4. I'm like, all right, bro, you got me the first 8 times. I ain't falling for it no more. But every once in a while, if I'm washing the cars or something like that, I'll throw on an episode and relive the panic. It's great. And the voice acting, the Foley work, it's all beautiful. Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I think this is it. It's on podcast 1.
I believe so. It should be like a guy in a suit standing there.
All right. I think this is it. Yeah, I'm going to check this out today. Well, not tonight. It's too late now.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. So, Mikey.
Yes, sir.
Let them know a little bit about yourself for those who don't know.
So I am a YouTuber, a podcaster, a musician, producer, lover, fighter. No, but I'm assigned with a bunch of internet entities. So my schedule as follows now. I have a D&D podcast called Nat One Heroes. That's on Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays. I'm the producer for my friend Neil, the 604 Atheist. He's up in Vancouver, British Columbia in Canada. Wednesdays, I do Dig on America, which is seen behind me. And Thursdays is the Bin podcast, which is my flagship show. That's my baby. And that's when me and 4 of my international friends wrap up the week's politics and make fun of each other. So that's what I do on a weekly basis.
So what got you into podcasting in general?
I love podcasts. I've been listening to them since I don't know. I can't even think of the first one I listened to. Maybe I know I listened to Serial back in the day, but I was like, man, I wish I had a show I could talk about stuff about. And then I found like show after show after show. And then in one of the Patreon hangouts for one of the shows I was a supporter of, I met my 3 friends that are now in the Bin podcast. So we were like meet up instead of once a month, we meet up every Thursday and then kick it and rap and hang out and stuff. I'm like, dude, why don't we just make our own show? So started the crazy process of getting that going. But it's the long forum conversational way of discussing things is my preferred way of consuming information and giving out information. If I have to listen to a 45-second clip, my ADD is too bad. You couldn't hold me. But if I can like put on a podcast in the background and play video games, it's just a way chiller vibe. And it's easy for me to eat up all the info.
I agree. I've found myself many times, and this sounds weird, just avoiding TV and just getting all my information from podcasts because podcasts are becoming more entertaining than TV.
I haven't seen. Me and my girl were just watching Kitchen Nightmares. I love me some Gordon Ramsay, and an ad came up, but it was like a commercial, like a regular commercial. I was like, I don't know if I've seen a commercial in like 7 years because we don't do cable. Like we do Netflix and we do Hulu and Paramount Plus and Disney Plus and HBO Max. Like all of our stuff is streaming like straight to us. Like we're spoiled. Like we don't even remember commercials. Ads are 5 seconds and I skip them.
I do cable for my kids because they like they watch Nick and stuff like that. Even and that now this is before Paramount Plus became a thing and they can just watch it without having to watch it like when it comes on TV. But that and for wrestling. Otherwise, then I probably wouldn't have cable. Like,
if wrestling started up a streaming service,
yeah, I probably would not be on cable at all.
It's like, y'all finna get this Paramount Plus, and we're gonna get this WWE exclusive.
Yeah,
y'all missing the bag, but they got so many deep contracts. Like I was complaining on the bin about how hard it was to watch the Olympics because if you don't have cable, they won't let you. Like I'm like, just charge me $100. Just charge me $100. Give me an app, and I'll pay it so I can watch the stuff.
It was so weird because if I remember correctly, Paramount Plus was streaming some stuff, but then I think Hulu was streaming some stuff, and there was another channel streaming some stuff. Like, what the hell?
They won't let, but they won't let you
watch it in the whole.
They won't let you watch it at all because you have to have like a cable subscription. Because as soon as you try to click on that, they'll be like, cool, log in with your Comcast or whatever your local cable company is. You have to log in with that to watch it on Hulu.
That sucks.
I'm like, I don't have it, dumbass. I have Hulu. Why the hell would I have both? Well, there you go. So I had to watch everything in replays on YouTube because I don't have cable. And I wasn't getting cable for a month.
Yeah, and I think I think a lot of people on that boat where they like cable sucks. And honestly, the only reason why I have cable is because, like I said, because my kids, and because Comcast gave me a deal where they were like, "Hey, you're gonna get really fast internet, and with that really fast internet, you're gonna get cable." And like, all right, I said, I guess I'll just take this cable on the side. Don't really want it, but
they tried with me. I was like, no. We can get you the 1 gig, and then you can do. I was like, no. You're gonna give me just the gig. If you get a home phone, I'm like, sir, I'm not about to go back and forth with you. If you say one more other product, I'm gonna hang up on you, and then I'm gonna call somebody else, and they're gonna get the sale. So, how you want to play this? Well, I'll get you just theater. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, they are persistent. I'll say that much.
Man, they really are pushing this cable thing, but I don't want the box, man. I don't want it.
It is a hassle. So let me ask you this, because I never got this story. How did you hook up with Dig on America?
So I was a listener because my friend Cortez, who was also on the bin for a bit, Haas was one of his mentors. So it was like, oh, my mentor's got a podcast. I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And I started listening. And I'm maybe like 30 minutes in, and then Dutch starts talking. And I'm like, what the man? This dude is okay. And actually, it was about Lupe Fiasco. They said something crazy about Lupe. I was like, all right, that is it. So I'm on Twitter and I'm lighting them up. and then like went back and forth a few times, and then they can't read apparently, so they called me Mickey Famine, or and I'm like, what is this? I'm like, it is Mikey, not Mickey. There's no C in my name. So that became a thing. So then I was like, you know what? I'll give them a couple weeks to clear it up, and eventually they did. So, I joined on the Patreon to help out. And if y'all are, Delvin, do you have a Patreon?
Yes, I do.
If y'all are not supporting the shows you like on Patreon, you are a fool, because when them shows is gone, you will have no one to blame but yourself. You have to support the people that you like, or else we will go away.
That is facts.
That is big facts.
And I do a lot of podcasts for my Patreon. I want to say 5 unique shows.
Nice. See, let me stop talking. Let me get over on your Patreon while I'm saying this.
Let's see. I'm gonna bring off some of the shows I do. I do Fire Brigade, which is something like the Ben that you do. I do the Boondocks, which is a podcast for me and my son, where me and him, because my son never seen the Boondocks, not one episode. So I've started
going through it
with him, episode by episode. We'll talk about the episode. So it's kind of fascinating hearing him. How he feels about it and things like that. Which episodes
how old is he?
He's now 15.
Oh, he's at the perfect age then.
Yeah, never seen it. I don't think he even heard of it before I showed it to him.
It wasn't because it got I guess if you didn't know, then you didn't know.
Yeah.
Because I bought it on DVD.
Yeah, it was one of those things that the Boondocks wasn't like widely recognized in terms of like until recently, actually, because it wasn't. They stopped really playing the episodes on Adult Swim,
right?
So you couldn't really watch it that way, and then you didn't still really get to watch it unless you either had the DVD or now because of HBO Max.
I didn't know it was on there.
Yes, on HBO. That's how we watch each episode.
Oh, sucky now. Oh, you know what? I think I knew that. I think me and my girl watched a couple episodes, and my girl is very white, and she was like, "Are they allowed to do this?" I'm like, "Yo, they can do whatever they want."
Yeah. So far, we've recorded. They're all not out yet. We recorded 4 episodes, and when we got to that R. Kelly episode, it was uncomfortable in that room.
I saw piss and I removed. She saw piss. She stayed.
And my son asked, like, that was a thing you could do on TV? Like, yeah, that was a thing that was done on TV.
And Aaron McGruder, props to him, shout out to him, because he was like, I'm making my show.
Yes.
And I don't care what anybody says about me. It's not important to me. My show is coming out. And as soon as they were like, okay, we're just going to put some constraints on you. He's like, no, you're not. Oh, well, we have to do it. He's like, okay, you take it then. Have fun. And then that's why we got season 3. It is whack as hell because Aaron McGruder wasn't there anymore. He's like, do whatever you want. I already got paid. I don't care.
Facts.
But I heard it. They might be relaunching it.
Yes, they are.
Yes.
To my knowledge, they are. And fun fact, and people who listen to this podcast know this, I've had on one of the writers for the show multiple times on this podcast, Rodney Barnes. He's been on this podcast at least 3 times.
And you ain't even gonna slide him over to the home. Okay.
I get you up with him.
Let me just slide up a tier because you're over here playing.
I'll slide that information about Rodney Barnes. He's a good dude. Great comic book writer. Oh, thank you, brother.
That's how you do it, peoples. Don't talk about it, be about it.
Facts. So let's get more into your stuff, because I always found you fascinating, way more interesting than Dutch. Far more interesting than Dutch. So you hook up with the Dig on America guys. You get on their podcast. I think you add a great dynamic to it. Well, because Big Haas, he's vocal, but he's charming, and at the same time, he's more of a person who's going to give you logic and reason behind things. And he's calm with it.
Yes.
Dutch always tries to see the good in people, even if the people have no good.
There's no good in them.
Yes.
There's no good to find. And if he can't find any good, he'll just make it up. I'm like, you made that up. You made up that good. That's not there. And he goes, no, I know. Well, I'm pretty sure that person is. I'm like, stop it. You're making things up right now.
Yes. And you are bluntly honest.
It is a character flaw and my greatest strength.
Yes.
Like I tell people consistently, I will never lie to you because I feel like it's a waste of my time.
Yeah.
I don't have extra time to be remembering what I said to you.
Yeah, and I think that adds a great dynamic to that show because you have those interesting moments where you can see, well, we're going to talk about we can talk about that moment if you want to, but yeah, we have this interesting one particular moment in particular was someone was on your show and they were blatantly passing falsehoods about certain things, and you called them out on it.
Yes.
I'll let you elaborate from there. So
we had this person. So the episode was about economics, which is why I'm confused why that dude was even there in the first place. He knew nothing about economics at all. He was just a right-winger capitalist. He had no knowledge of what goes into economics.
Basic economics at that.
Basics, like the definition of property. Or what is and isn't socialist. Like he didn't even know the nomenclature of what he was speaking on. And whilst making a complete ass of himself for the entire show, for some reason it got brought up about COVID and the vaccines, and he thought it was a good idea on our platform to spout the line of BS that it was gene therapy. And I asked him for a citation and he said, yeah, here's my blog. I'm like, are you citing yourself as the source for your own lie?
That's a common thread with people nowadays.
and then I'm like, well, where's the article that you got it from? I'm on your website. I don't see it. Where is it? Where's the article you got that from? Well, maybe I didn't post the link for it, but if you look it up, I'm not looking up nothing. You give me the link. And it's, I'm usually I like to make jokes about everything. So I'll just wait for my moment and then I get my little sucker punch in there. But when homie is talking about, not to mention he's the pastor of a church where he's having full congregations of people unvaccinated, unmasked, singing, dancing, clapping, hugging, kissing each other. And now you're trying to spread your dumbassery? No, not here. And it devolved into a full-on screaming match in which he told me that he couldn't wear a mask because his wife has seizures if she wears a mask, which is made up. And I said, boo effing who? And then I knew that was going to piss him off, and I got him. I baited him, and he got riled up, and then he ended up rage quitting. But it's probably one of the few times that I've actually gotten angry at somebody on the internet. Most of the time, I'm just like, God, they're stupid. Let me just play chess with this checker's head, and yeah, I went fully ballistic on the guy. Ballistic on the guy.
I know Dutch didn't enjoy it, but I thoroughly enjoyed the episode. I got through the whole episode. It was a long episode. If I'm correct, it's a 2-part episode.
He broke it up into 2 parts, but yeah, I think the one live stream was about 3.5, 4 hours.
I got through the whole 4-hour episode because if I remember correctly, Dutch. This is a little inside baseball. Dutch sent me the full episode and like, I want your opinion on this because I don't know if we should release it or not. And I said, yeah, man, let it fly. But yeah, I always appreciate your honesty with things like that because we need people to be honest, especially in times like this where there's so much dishonesty going on with everything in terms of like, we had 4 years of Trump, and I think people don't want to admit to it, but I think those 4 years caused a divide in this country, whereas it showed some people's true colors, but it also caused people to not trust anything or make up their own facts
and feel comfortable in doing so.
Yes.
And like he said all of that stuff about it being gene therapy, about I don't wear a mask because my wife has seizures. He said that with a straight face.
Yes.
Like he was right. Like he wasn't just making it up on the spot. Like he said it with full confidence. That's the danger of having bad politicians or influential people who are completely off base and don't have any ethics that you can point to, because people will believe that, because Americans are stupid. I love y'all, but y'all are dumb. Y'all fall for anything. And that's dangerous when the person that you're falling for, or the information you're falling for, is detrimental to your health and is detrimental to the health of the people around you who may not be wanting, they don't believe what you believe, but you're a contagion right now. Yeah. And you don't know you're a contagion. You're walking around spreading shit and you don't know it. So that's why I got so mad, is because like I haven't been able to hang out with my girl's family, my fiance's family, maybe once from all of this. Her brother had he got a Make-A-Wish foundation, like he got a kidney.
Wow.
So he's immunocompromised for life. Forever. He's forever immunocompromised. So us getting together is always a super risky thing because we don't want to get him sick. He can't fight it. He's on immunosuppressors just so that his body doesn't reject the kidney, right? Like, so all you people that think that, oh, you can't, everybody should get the vaccine. Like, well, everybody can't get the vaccine. And that's what herd immunity is for, is to protect the people who are in those outlying areas. People who have organ transplants can't get vaccines for things because they're immunocompromised. They can't get them. If they get them, they will get the virus, and the virus will kill them because they have no way of fighting it. So when I hear people spreading information, that makes it harder for me to see my family.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to deal with in terms of seeing everything that's going on now with it. Because I would tell people right now I'm vaccinated, and I got vaccinated because I work with my grandmother. My grandmother's 82 years old.
Right.
She's had cancer twice. She survived cancer. She had kidney failure. She survived that. So I don't want to be the person who gets her COVID after she dies after surviving all of that.
And then here's me, because I'm scared to get my arm sore for a day, or to take a day off of work for the second shot. Like, what are we really talking about here? Your job's going to pay you for the day off anyway. Your arm's going to be a little sore. Tough it up. Put on your big girl panties or your big boy drawers, and just buck it up. You'll be fine. Be safe.
And my whole thing has always been about it, like, because I have a lot of friends who got the shot and who don't want to get the shot. My thing is like this, and I've always said this: like, if you don't want to get the shot, be honest. Don't come up with these bullshit excuses about, the government's doing this, government's doing, like, you carry, the government's going to track you, fam. You carry your phone everywhere you go.
You bought $1,000 tracking device. You keep it charged. You tell everybody your personal information on social media. What the hell do they need to put a chip in a syringe for? That's a waste of money.
Legit waste of money. Like,
you already bought it. They said, oh, your tracking device has new cameras. You're like, ooh, new cameras. Ooh. Let me be first in line.
Yeah. So I'm like, just be transparent with me. Like, you don't have to say all this other. Just say you don't want to get it. And I think people just don't want to say that they don't want to get it. They have to add a caveat to it where, oh, it's this, that. I don't trust it.
But some of that is legitimate, right? Because Black people, especially, we have a reason to be afraid of the government. We have a reason to be afraid of vaccines.
Of course,
we have historical precedents where we have been taken advantage of in these areas. I grant that to people, and I grant them that fear. But also, I need you to be courageous enough to try. Because if there's 15 white people in line in front of you, and they're all getting their vials out of the same box, you're getting what the white people got. Yeah. They're not going to poison themselves to get you.
Well, let me see, now that I'm glad this is an interesting conversation right here. Now that you brought that up, why do you think, because this is something I commonly see in my family, and you probably see it in your family, why do you think on one hand, you have the Black community not trusting vaccines and things like that, but on the other hand, go get these health supplements that are not approved by the FDA and not approved by anybody. Because it's the common thing. Like,
why are you hating on my hustle right now?
I'm being 100. Like, yo, because
look, man, you need to cleanse your colon, brother. Like, I got these pills, bro. What they gonna do is they're gonna clean you all out. You're gonna get you nice and sparkling on the inside.
I'll put it to you this way. I've had multiple family members who got sick from COVID. And instead of going to the doctor, they were like, hey, take these health supplements. And that's going to fix
y'all. That's not how
and that's going to fix you up. And I'm like, no, take your ass to the doctor.
Before you need a respirator. You got a respirator in one of them pills? Because you're going to need one.
But it's a common thing in the Black community where we kind of
it's like
self-help ourselves, medicate.
It is because like it's not us, like we're very close in age, so we and people our age forget how close slavery, Jim Crow, I almost said apartheid, but segregation, we forget how close to us that was. My mom was in 3rd grade when they integrated the schools in St. Louis.
Yeah, that sounds right. My grandmother was born in 1919.
Yeah.
So she lived through that stuff.
You know what I'm saying? So like that's literally like 2 generations away. What our parents, our ancestors, our forefathers, they taught us, because that's what was the case for them. They taught us what was the case for them. They taught us to be cautious, to be wary, to be mindful of people offering you things. And they were 100% correct from their point of view. 100% correct. But at the same time, we cannot go to the doctor for a broken arm. And then when the same doctor says, okay, I really think you should get this vaccine because there's a new virus out there and it could really compromise your health. You already have COPD. You've been smoking Newports your entire life. You have asthma. This could really mess you up if you get it. And they're just like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you can't go to him for your asthma medicine or your diabetes medicine and then not listen to him when he says, this is also good for you. Like the hateful racist doctors of the past are dead. Most doctors are either, I would say more than half of doctors are either of the LGBTQ persuasion or some sort of minority.
Yes.
There's not a majority of cisgendered white doctors out there anymore. They're from Africa, they're from India, they're gay, straight, trans, all that stuff. Those racist white dudes from the past are gone. We have to break of that mindset that they're trying to do stuff to us again. And I'm only saying that based on what I know so far. Who knows? In 20 years, it could be shown that I was 100% wrong.
Yeah.
But we don't know that. And I can't live my life on conspiracy theories and what could have, should have, might have been.
Well, I think I want to add to that because I think that's a problem with Black culture in general because, and this is something that plagues the Black community where you have a lot of Black men in particular die younger than they should, like in their 60s and their 50s because they don't want to go to the doctor. They don't get checked up. So next thing you know, they have cancer. And it's usually speaking, some cancer they usually have is something that can, if detected early enough, can be fixed. But since they don't go to the doctor, they died at 50.
And there's economical reasons for that as well. If you don't have a good job that gives you insurance, you're not going to no doctor.
Yeah.
I'm not going for no $800 checkup once a year. I feel fine. I'm just going to work another year. I feel fine. So and that's a whole nother rabbit hole about why there's so many Black and brown people that are underprivileged and why they don't have what they need to get by, which is why I consistently press for Medicare for all, or any kind of socialized medicine, because what ends up happening is people just suffer with their sicknesses and they just let it happen to them. And the reality is it doesn't have to. The only reason it does is because they feel like it would bankrupt them. And hospital medical bills is the number one reason for bankruptcy. And the greatest country in the world, the greatest country ever. Make America great again. Everyone's broke because they got sick.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Sad but true.
When we got warehouses full of medicine, but people are filing for bankruptcy because they're sick. What even is this?
I think we done got to this back. I think for years now, and I think people are seeing it now even more so than ever. This country has pulled the wool over our eyes for certain things.
Yeah.
A perfect example is the war in Afghanistan, where how 20 years ago, when this all was happening, the majority of people was all for it and things like that. They're like, yeah, we was mad. We was mad. We got to get it. Now this year, when you see troops pulling out, people are starting to question, well, why the fuck we were there in the first place?
Well, that's a long story, my boy.
Yeah. Why were we there?
Exactly.
Why were we there in the first place? Didn't add to the fact because the whole thing, I know you watched it because I watched it, was jarring because U.S. troops started leaving, and within hours, the Taliban just took over Afghanistan. You're like, how did that work? How are we in a place for 20 years, and in 20 minutes it's taken over?
So that's the thing. It's different than if I say, cool, the war starts at noon tomorrow. Get ready for war. It's different than me saying that versus, I know you've been helping the Americans, so your daughter's dead tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
It's a total, F this country. I'm out of here. No, me and my baby are out of here. And that's what the Taliban doesn't follow the Geneva Conventions. They're terrorists.
Yeah.
They do all kinds of bogus, nasty, crazy shit. So they're not here to fight a real war. They use whatever they can use. Or you know what? Your girl goes to school over there on First Street, doesn't she? Yeah, cool. And you're in charge of the army over here? Cool. Be too bad if that whole place got blown up tomorrow morning, huh? And that's how they took over. We're coming in here, or else this is going to happen. I think it was like 200 and something troops garrisoned in one base, and 7 dudes walked up, and all 200 of them left.
That's fascinating.
When you don't have rules, you are very, very dangerous. And then how do I tell somebody, yo, man, who cares if they killed your daughter? You should have stood there and fought. Well, I can't say that to that man. He loves his family.
Huh?
He's trying to do the right thing, protect whatever he can protect. But at the end of the day, he's protecting them. And if they're not safe, then he's out.
Yeah. So what do you think of the notion of people saying, because there's still this rhetoric which wasn't around before, by the way, but now it's all of a sudden that the U.S. should protect Afghanistan and see that these people are taken care of and things like that, and maybe push back on the Taliban and things like that?
Well, I have a very good idea. I think we should pick them up in our aircraft carriers, which are all in the bay over there in the Gulf. So we can pick them up. They can get on. And any country that has space for them can take them. All the rest, they can come back to the States, and we will bring them to all of the Republican areas who were against it. And if those Republicans don't like it, just like they told Black Lives Matter, if you don't like it, you can leave. We will bring them here, and they can go live. The Republicans love, hey, all lives matter, remember? All lives matter. So I got some all lives for you. Here they come. I got 10,000 Afghan refugees. Where would you like them? Which facility would you like us to bring them to? Because all lives matter, remember? All lives matter. So here's some lives. Make them matter. They better be mattering to you. But they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. I know that a lot of European nations are taking in refugees. St. Louis has, I forget the name of the international. It's called international something. I'll have to look it up and hit you back. But they're taking 1,000 refugees a month or something like that.
I think I did see something like that on the news today.
Yeah, a friend of mine posted it and trying to spread the word that like these are options. So if you have people that need to get over here, have them contact them and all this stuff. So yeah, there are places that will take them, but I think our military ain't doing nothing right now.
Yeah,
you're in the people transport business. Get them out of there. Get them out. If everybody wants to leave except the Taliban, get them out. And then I heard a lot of reports of people like, well, what if we bring the terrorists here? I'm like, oh, you don't remember January 6th, huh?
Yeah.
That one terrorist, domestic terrorist. How many churches and schools and everything else got to get shot up before we start worrying about that terrorism? You ain't got to worry about them.
Yeah, you don't. You honestly don't. I don't think this is the thing. The Taliban are getting what they want, so they don't have a need to come here. They're getting Afghanistan. Why would they want to come here? They won.
And once we're fairly certain that all of the innocents have left, well, then you just handle biz.
Yeah.
Now you can fight a war without 1,000 collateral damage deaths. Obama, looking right at you. Because that was the thing. That's what really set me off about Obama was the drone strikes. It's like, oh, we got all these targets. I'm like, yo, but you got like 500 people who had nothing to do with it as well. Bad plan, bro. You can't blow up little kids and then expect me to be on your side like, rah, rah, sis, kumbaya, go America. Like, that's not right.
Yeah. I've always wondered about that in terms of how much into the planning of these things are the presidents in terms of that, in terms of their military advisors and things like that, because somebody had to advise Obama, hey, this is the best course of action. And yes, he had to sign off on it.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, why are advisors advising them, hey, you can blow up this school and you may kill like 20 kids, but you'll get 40 of them. Why is that an option that's even on the table?
Because that's war.
Yeah.
Like we didn't like in World War II, excuse me. In World War II, we didn't drop bombs on farmland. We dropped bombs on cities. We didn't drop it on Tokyo, but we dropped it on decently populated cities to break the will of the Japanese and make sure that they knew this will continue. That I don't know how someone makes that decision to drop, like they could have dropped it offshore somewhere or something like that. And just the force of those bombs probably would have got Japan to surrender. But what was it? 30,000 dead in 40 seconds.
And that goes to my next question. Like, and I know my answer. Is the cost of war worth the reward?
No, it never is.
Because it seems like you just said, like the presidents, these people who supposed to technically work for us are making these calls and changing and destroying people's lives. Like if I lived in Japan, I don't know how I would be able to forgive America for what they did to my country.
And it took decades to get that irradiated soil and all that stuff. Like it's that place is ruined.
Yeah. And to be clear to everybody else, think about it like this. 9/11. People haven't forgiven the terrorists about 9/11.
Never forget.
And that was just one. That was New York. That was just like small sectors.
Right.
The bomb affected Japan for decades.
And we dropped 2 of them.
Decades.
Hiroshima and then Nagasaki.
Yeah. That family generations was wiped out. That's insane to think about. Even if you want to go on a smaller scale, the drone strikes. How many people those drone strikes have killed? Like families just gone. Who didn't have anything to do with anything.
And it's not, and there is no undo button.
Yeah.
There is no. It's once it's done, it's final, and we have this tendency of wanting to be Team America World Police, and yeah, we have a name for cops who fucking abuse their power, and that's our foreign policy. Whenever we do something bad, we point fingers and we say we had no choice and we feared for our life, and that's what we did. We feared for our life and we blew up people for no reason.
Yeah,
because I mean sanctions work, diplomacy works, using the UN works, NATO forces work. We don't have to be the guys showing up with. I mean, if I'm having a barbecue or something like that, there's the guy who comes over with a 6-pack or a 12-pack of beer to share with everybody. There's a guy who brings an entire pig roast luau with the apple in the pig's mouth, 13 kegs of beer and everything else. And he says, okay, this is my barbecue now. Like, we can't do that to people consistently and expect them to respect us or treat us well. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. It's fascinating reading this stuff about Afghanistan and knowing the story of it, because this is one of the wars that me and you both lived through, and on a rare occasion got to see to the end.
Right. And a lot of my and that was, sorry, I hate to cut you off. One thing I also said on the bin was a lot of my friends went over there.
Yeah, one of my friends did too,
and they are not the same.
One of my friends went over there, and he's not the same as well. And also, one of the listeners to the show, a good friend of mine, Mike Fowler, he had a really good friend.
What up, Mike? Over there. What up, Mike? Boy,
he's a good dude. One of his friends died over there.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like he said a couple of days ago, like, damn, my friend died for nothing. That's a harsh pill to swallow.
And one of my closest friends, he was on our show last week, and he shared a bit, and he's been out for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years now. So he's more willing to share some things that he wasn't right after he got out. But he was like, he was special operations, so they go in and collect intel and do all that stuff for special forces to come in and do their thing. And he said most of the time we were just like, it was a bunch of capture kill missions where we were trying to get aid, and then these guys came and took our stuff, so we don't know what to do. He said, okay, cool. So they find the guys, roll them up, and then, yo, here's all your stuff, da da da. And they were just doing that from like community to community. So they were going around doing what they could to help these guys out. So then to see us withdraw, and it to all just have been, I won't say for nothing, because it definitely meant something to those people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, even though those people were radicalized, they had kids too. They had wives too. The guys that they rolled up had families too. And one of the things that he shared was like, well, I made sure that family probably starved to death because of me. And that's why war is stupid, because even if you win, you lose.
Yeah.
Even if you win, you lose.
Yeah, I think this whole Afghanistan situation kind of shows that. Like, people are comparing it to Vietnam.
Yeah. Well, I hope that, it hasn't been quite as bad as Vietnam as far as like the reaction stateside with the troops, because I'm a tree hugging hippie to the fullest, but I will never just spit in somebody's face after they get home.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, that's uncalled for. This situation, I think this country. The one thing I do appreciate about this situation in terms of this country, We respect our troops to know enough that, damn, they went over to do a job. They may not agree with the job, but that's not on them. A lot of these guys went over there as kids. Yeah, they went over there as kids, like 18, 17 years. They're kids.
I was an idiot at 18.
Yeah.
An absolute idiot.
We're putting the hands of other people, the lives of other people in the hands of kids. To fight wars for us. It's insane when you think about it.
No, it's a lot of rich kids that go over there, right? A bunch of Yale graduate kids. That's a bunch of hoity-toity rich boys. Oh no, it's the poor kids.
Yeah, poor kids. And I know this is the thing. When I was in school, they would almost prey on the younger kids who was in disenfranchised neighborhoods and like, hey, we know you ain't got no money, but you come to the military.
You want to get a Mustang?
Yeah. They say
you want a Camaro.
You want a full college paid for,
nice
house, free housing. Those are the things they kind of entice you with.
But those things are impossible to provide. And you know what's crazy? If the government were to provide that for, I don't know, everybody, they would say that would be some would say that would be a handout. That's socialism. I don't like that.
Yeah.
But if you go to the desert and you shoot people, then I have a justification for giving you a college degree, enough money to live on, and enough to send back home to your family. Like, I think that's one of the critical issues with this country is the people who advocate for everyone pulling themselves up by their bootstraps have a huge blind spot when it comes to government workers. They don't say that about cops. They don't say that about soldiers. They don't say that about anybody. They only say that the people who aren't those three things don't deserve health care, education, and I mean, we still don't take care of our vets. Like if our military budget is like $680 billion, why the hell is somebody passing around a fucking hat to collect money for the troops? Why are there people with limbs blown off, with artificial limbs, standing outside of grocery stores asking for pocket change to raise money for their foundation? I thought we had a $680 billion budget for the military, and you can't take care of the vets?
Those should be the first ones taken care of.
I mean, you could probably buy one less jet and take care of like all of Illinois, or not one less aircraft carrier and take care of the entire South. Like, what? Stop making veterans if you're not going to take care of them.
Yeah, I feel very strongly about that. I have like a lot of military in my family, and I've seen the effect it takes on them and how some of them don't come back from that. They just don't. They lose a part of them to it, and then some of them don't have the ability to cope with the real world. Like, it's hard to be like someone who spent most of your life in the military. Then you get out there like, okay, you got to go work at Walmart now.
Right.
That's a hard left transition. And yeah, there's some people who can adapt to that. Some people who can't. Like, my brother was a Marine. My brother was my brother's a smart dude. My brother was different from other people in terms of when he went to the Marines, he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to go in the Marines. After he did his time in the Marines, he wanted to come out and be a police officer. That's a plan.
Right.
Not everybody wants to do that. Not everybody grows up wanting to be a Marine or be in the Army. Some people get in there out of necessity. My brother wasn't that dude. And even with him being like, hey, I want to join the Marines, then become a cop, he had a period of time where he could not become a cop.
Right.
There was a period of time like, hey, I'm looking for trying to become a cop. I'm trying to get in. They won't let me in. That takes a toll on you. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's a given guaranteed thing. He was fortunate enough to be able to do what he wanted to do in the end and make a career and a good life for himself. But at the same time, that's not everybody. I would probably say that's not even half of them.
No.
A lot of people just go in and then they come out aimlessly wandering around. I got friends who
can't figure out what to do now.
Can't figure out what to do because they don't know their whole job was just one thing in the military.
And that's just like in the NBA where they make you, I think like they make you take financial courses. They've learned their lessons about people coming out of high school, getting a couple $1 million, losing their contracts, or getting kicked out of the league because they're just everything's going up their nose, or they're getting in trouble and all that stuff. Like financial literacy, they have no idea about. They don't, like, they prepare them for the exit. And I don't know that the military does that in a way that is substantial and beneficial to the people that they are taking. Like you have to set them up to succeed. And if not, then why take them in the first place?
Yeah. I think, and I'm glad you brought up the NBA, because I think it's super cool that I see players like D Wade who leave the NBA and can find other avenues to make money, whether it's investments and business and stuff like that, or TV shows, or even Shaq. Shaq's an expert at this.
My God. Shaq has his big size 86 toes and everything.
Yes, and I think that's dope to see that, because back in the day, that wasn't necessarily a thing. You'd have players leave the NBA, get broke a few years later.
Get broke quick.
Real quick. You don't really see that as much now, because you see all these players, like you said, they're teaching them about how to invest in things like that. So you see a lot of players just start up companies and businesses, and you're seeing more players become assistant coaches.
Yep.
So why can't we have that for our military? Why can't we have it so, hey, if you don't want to be in the military no more, let's transition you someplace else where you're going to be okay. I don't think there should be any person who served in the military for a substantial amount of time not having a house to stay in. They should have at least, bare minimum, a home.
Yeah.
Bare minimum, a home.
We have vacant houses. I forget what the percentage is, but it's more than 10%. 10% of the homes in America are empty. No one lives there. They're just owned by the bank. They're empty. Give them to somebody who needs them. Don't let them be empty. Sorry, bank, you're not making money off this house. It's going to a troop.
Yeah.
It's going to a needy family. It's going to somebody. But this capitalistic nature of this country is so detrimental to our own success. We're so worried about making money. We're not worried about staying alive. We're not worried about taking care of people who need us most, people who have sacrificed the most to make sure that things work the way that they work. We don't take care of them. And it's like the most, I hate Americans so much sometimes, because we are so ungrateful. And not because, we're so privileged and we have all these things that we should just like get on a bended knee for every night. It's things, we're ungrateful for the sacrifices that we make to each other. We don't appreciate each other and the work that we do for each other. That's one thing, like, I've always loved Japan and Japanese culture. But everyone treats each other with a certain level of respect, whether you're the bag boy at the grocery store or you are the CEO. Everyone is treated with respect. It is mandatory due to their culture, but it manifests itself in a way that everyone isn't a dick. And certain people aren't left out on the cold just because they don't have enough money. And we can learn a lot. But I'm hoping that now that younger faces are starting to show up in the realm of politics, that a lot of this old school shit will just die out, because people of our generation, of my generation and younger than me, they're not for it.
Yeah.
Because how many times do we have to watch another country be the example before we figure out, we should probably start doing this? We're like one of the few places that we charge kids for all years of school. Like even if it's a public school, you still have to pay some amount of money. But then college is astronomical. Well, how does that help the country? Wouldn't it be better if our young people at 22 or 20 and 22 had 2 and 4 year degrees? Isn't that a good investment? That we have a bunch of really, really smart kids? But we won't do it, because unless you agree to take on this $80,000 to $180,000 loan, you don't get to go to school.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this? This makes no sense.
it's crazy that we are entrusting. Like I say it again, 17, 18-year-olds with $80,000 to $100,000 worth of debt. Like, all right, you go to school, but you got to pay this off when they don't even have a job yet.
No. And what career are they going to go into with a liberal arts degree that you're charging them $200,000 for?
Yeah, that they're going to be able to pay you back with this.
And they know that they can't pay them back.
They're grown-ass adults that you say, hey, here's $200,000. Start your career, but you got to pay us back. They're not going to be able to pay that back.
Yeah.
Like, no, I can't do that.
And for a couple of reasons, I never went to college. I had family stuff going on. I got accepted to a few good schools. I was going to go into music education because I've been in concert band and all that stuff since I was like 9. I'm a former trumpeter. But now I play guitar, bass, drums, and all that stuff. I make rock and roll music now.
I play trombone.
The boners.
I played
the worst of the worst.
I played it since I want to say 6th grade.
Yeah.
So I played it for a good while. 6th grade.
We're gonna have to get a ska band together. It'll be nice.
Yes.
Ska is on the way back, by the way. But that was my thing. Like, so I got into the music program. I did the college tour. Saw all the dorms. Saw this. Was like, wow, this is really great. And they're like, yep, $28,000 a year, and that's not including books. And I was like, ooh. And this is how many years? At least 4. Okie dokie. Well, that ain't happening.
Yeah.
That I can tell you right now, that ain't happening.
It's a hard pill to swallow and a harsh reality that a lot of people deal with on a regular. Like, hey.
And that was 2006. It's 2021 now, so I don't even want to think about what. So I can probably look it up real quick. How much it is per year at this college that I got accepted to. But it was an unfathomable amount of money. And the salary for a music educator is around $50,000.
Yeah.
So how was I going to pay back 128 and eat and live on $50,000 a year? It ain't happening.
The math does not add up at all.
If I had $10,000 extra a year, we're talking about 13 years. Yeah, come on.
It's funny how that works out too. Like, hey, you just got 12 years of education for relatively cheap, but then then you 13th to 14th year, it's gonna cost you about $100,000. So
it was 28 when in 2005-06. It's $45,100.
Jeez.
For undergraduate tuition and fees. It's insane.
Yeah.
Oh no, the annual list price to attend such and such college on a full-time basis is $61,200 for all students, regardless of their residency.
And note, this is for people who are 17, 18 years old. 9 times out of 10, they work at a place like the Gap if they have a job.
There was a Taco Bell.
Yes, Taco Bell and the Gap making like $8 an hour, and you're expecting to pay $61,000 back a year.
45,100 was the tuition, but room and board is 12,400, and then 1,200 for books and supplies. Yeah, so 61,200 per year.
So when you put that together with what we were talking about earlier, with terms of like, hey, you can either pay this $61,000, or you can go to the military, and the military will pay that $61,000 for you,
and you get a Mustang,
and you may or may not get a house, but you may deal with some trauma. You just become a trained killer.
That's the predatory nature of these things. They, like I said, they don't go to rich high schools. They don't go to the ritzy ditzy college prep places. They go to the hood. They go to the to the lower middle class people, and they just pack their numbers. So every time I see a staff sergeant, I kind of give them the side eye. Like, I know why you're here.
Yeah.
Staff sergeants are recruiters.
When I was in school, me and my friend, his name's Matthew, I won't give his last name out. We got the highest ASVAB score. We got the highest ASVAB score in our school.
I did very well in my ASVAB.
Yeah,
very well.
And when I say they were coming to the school every day to try to recruit me, it was every single day. For those who don't know, the ASVAB is the military test. You take that test.
It's like the military ACT or SAT or whatever.
Yes. I don't even know why I took that.
I was in ROTC all 4 years of high school.
I don't know if that was a requirement or not, but I think they made us take that test. People were like, oh, yeah, I kind of take this ASVAB. But they came to my house. They came to the school. They were like relentlessly trying to get me in the military. My mom was like not having it. Like, no, you already got one of my kids. You're not getting the other one.
I think, so I'm looking at, it says, what is a good ASVAB score? Standard score on a scale of 0 to 100. On the scale of 50 is the mean or average, and every 10 points above points from the mean represents one standard deviation. It means that a standard score of 60 will be above average, and most test takers score between 30 and 70. I want to say I got like an 84.
Yeah, I got something like that. Because they were talking about like you could be in military intelligence and stuff like that. And
you're singing my song right now.
That's exactly what they were telling you. Yeah, you can go to military intelligence. They were really trying to get me in. I specifically remember that. They were desperate.
Yeah. And like I said, like I did 4 years of ROTC along with all my music courses. So I never took a lunch in high school. Didn't even know where to find a lunchroom or the gym because that was exemptions. But it was the first year was Marine Corps, and had Master Gunny was our senior military officer, and I had Mage, the major, who was a pilot in Korea. I think one was what was he? Amphibious tank battalion in Korea, and the other one was a navigator pilot in Korea. And those were the dudes that were like they were OGs, like crusty old hardened dudes, but they all, I think they all had a love for the military, but they had a love for young people and teaching young people. So I will credit both of them to this. I don't know if both of them are still alive, but they wanted us to learn what they learned from the military, not just go join the military.
That makes sense.
They were like, they never tried to recruit anybody. They always just wanted to teach and show us things that like learning how to fold maps and read maps. Like, this is a topographical map. I'm going to show you what this is. This is how an engine works on the plane. This is how this works. And like, just showing you cool shit. And it was probably like, I had to wear the stupid uniform on Thursdays or whatever it was. It sucked, but I will never forget the lessons learned from those grizzled old vets who actually took some time out to teach kids things that they probably wouldn't learn otherwise. So shout out to Mage, shout out to Master Gunny.
That's dope. I think that's the perfect way to end this episode, man. This has been a blast, Mikey. Let them know where to find you at.
You can find me all over the internet. I have my own channel. If you go to youtube.com/c/Mikey Famine, you can find me there. But the schedule as it stands now is Sundays is all these are YouTube channels, by the way. Natural One Heroes, The Bin Podcast, Dig on America, and I'm a producer for my buddy Neil, the 604 Atheist. So you can find me any one of those places. I'm streaming 5 days a week. I miss my family. I'm working all the time. It's crazy. So
see, that's gonna be another topic next time you come on to talk about in terms of 605. What is it? 601 Atheist?
604.
604.
That's his area code up in British Columbia, in Vancouver.
And the whole atheist thing we're gonna talk about. We're gonna have a conversation about that because I know that's gonna rub people the wrong way. Well, I don't care. Because that's a fascinating conversation to have in itself.
I'm willing to talk. I'm willing to talk.
Yeah, I think we definitely got to have that conversation next time. next time you come on, because I think that's gonna be a great conversation. And as always, Delvin Cox Experience, we are out. Peace.